Heartbolt Media.
Excuse me, humans. I'm here today with Josh Blubaugh. I'm going to call you Blue this whole time.
Please.
So that's the official start to our podcast. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And I just have some topics and stuff. Let's get an idea who you are. You do comedy around the Richmond area and elsewhere.
Yeah, that's me. Also, can I just say how annoying it is when I meet someone who, insists on calling me Josh, even though I, introduce myself to everyone as Blue, and generally people have been calling me that most of my life now.
Are you a Joshua?
Yeah.
Who's a Josh that's not a Joshua?
Very few of us. People with weird moms.
It's like I listened to someone do a weird bit about Will Smith being called William, but his real name's Willard. His name's Willard Smith. It's not William.
Is it? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. First question.
Okay.
I have questions and topics, and I'm going to ask you them. And more than getting an idea of who you are, I think this is more structured to get an idea of your sensibilities.
Fair enough.
What do you think about jokes? Street jokes?
Street jokes. Do you want to hear my favorite street joke?
Yes.
Why'd Sally fall out of the swing?
Why?
Because she had no arms. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not Sally. That's my favorite street joke. I recently did a talk on comedy, which was a fucking monster to put together because I hate being prepared for things. But every single time I tried to discuss stand-up comedy with the guy who runs the talk series, his name's Micah, and it's this thing called Nerd Night. He would give me examples of street jokes and be like, how does that fit the joke structure? And I'd be like, well, that's a different kind of joke. But he would keep doing it. I like street jokes, but I also think there are people who think they're funny when all they do is know street jokes, and that frustrates me.
Yeah, when anyone's saying something they've heard before and considers themselves funny, that's not what humor is.
I fucking hate reference humor. I think reference humor is the bane of pop culture. The Big Bang Theory is nothing but reference humor, which is frustrating because it's such a popular show. When really all it is just let's laugh at these people for knowing stuff. Reference. But you'll never see a famous reference comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no one's doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess some of those kind of bro-y comics who are just going to do riff on Back to the Future, but their punchline's not going to be God, what's a quote they said from Back to the Future?
You can riff on Back to the Future all you want. I'm talking about some guys who every punchline is you remember this? You know what I mean?
I want to go do a stand-up set where I go, hey, do you remember this? Smoking, right?
Yeah, that was exactly what I'm talking about. You're not going to see that in the actual stand-up world, which was really frustrating because my best friend Steve Howes and I, before he moved away, we were in an improv group together, and he really likes the idea of doing reference humor ironically, but it just comes out as him just doing reference humor all the time.
Right, because you have to end that with I'm being ironic for people to know.
Well, no, it's just I'm kind of guilty of this too, where it's the audience understands that I'm a funny person and I know better, so when I do it, it's funny. And that idea is kind of weird and fucked up because you have to be so full of yourself to be I'm gonna do something I think unfunny people do, but in a way that I think is funny.
That's the same thing in life, because you know your intentions. So if you were to say something that would be not super PC or whatever, it should be okay because it's me. My intentions, kind of a thing.
I used to do a lot of this character that was a parody of fuckboys. And there were women in my life that like conflated that character and my own beliefs. And so I've like broken out of like this weird pattern of being like, of like doing like a Carl Bertana Nanalewski voice, like, oh, this bitch over here, to like make jokes on fuckboys because people thought I was serious about the things I was saying.
What's a fuckboy?
A fuckboy is a boy who has no respect for women and desperately wants to have sex with them. I think is generally a fuckboy. Why, do you ask?
I hear that a lot and I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, it's just like what just imagine a boy that every feminist would be incredibly frustrated with, and that's him. That's a fuckboy.
When I said I heard it a lot, I didn't mean like towards myself. Like,
yeah, I figured.
I meant like in,
you're saying this for the audience and not for me.
I meant in pop culture. Like, I'm not walking around and people are calling me a fuckboy. And
yeah. Do you want to know what my new favorite slang term is?
Yes.
It's cuckboy.
Oh, that's a combo.
Yeah. So the alt-right keeps calling liberals cucks, and then feminists like to call non-feminist boys fuckboys. A cuckboy is a guy who thinks he's woke, when really he's just woke enough to talk like he's woke, but then is ultimately like a tool of the patriarchy.
Aren't people who say they're woke also people who think they're woke? Who just think it? Because people who like are taking in reality and trying to parse that in their brains aren't like, I'm woke.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to think of myself as woke, and I get really frustrated with my white friends who are just like, I'm woke as fuck. And like, I've been having this conversation a lot about like the idea of like performing your virtues or like performing the things that you believe society thinks you should believe, because I have like a few friends who like very obviously do that, where they're like my boyfriend is black, so I know what I'm talking about, sort of thing.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I think it's just like this idea of progressive points, where it's like, I've scored more progressive points, so I'm better at talking about this than you. Which, like, I don't often try to seem like an expert on the plight of marginalized groups as a cisgender white boy. But I also get frustrated with the idea that I would have no idea about them, as if I haven't been paying attention to their plight at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one, and like I feel like I'm offending someone just by saying that, which is weird. Because it shouldn't be an offensive idea that I pay attention to the plight of marginalized groups, and yet I feel like someone's going to get mad at me for like saying I even can pay attention to it.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, absolutely, because like there's like weird set standards that people are following that are like created by people. They're not created by critical thinking. So the difference between being a critical thinker and being a progressive, when a lot of times we think that those are the same, but if you're just like taking cues from somewhere else instead of like actually figuring it out yourself.
Yeah.
Then
I don't know. It's kind of like, do you ever run into this problem when you're like a socially awkward feminist boy, so you don't know how to hit on girls at all? Like I can't make myself ask a girl I like on a date because I feel like I'm inconveniencing them, or I'm like doing some sort of injustice by flirting with them. It's a thing I feel on a daily basis where I'm just like, I like this girl, but oh boy, if I express that even a little bit, she would think I'm some sort of gross man who, oh boy.
I'm going to say, as a professional, that's completely normal. Because, like, I don't know what to do either. I don't know what the rules are. I think you have to, like, look at someone, but not too hard to make them uncomfortable, and just keep catching their eyes until at the exact same time you say, want to go on a date. And that's the only way you're allowed to
It's like that improv warm-up, Banana and Amy, where you, like, keep looking at each other and saying the same word at a time. And if you look at her and you're like, date, and she says no, then it's over.
Right? That should be the new way you do it. You go up to someone and you go 3, 2, 1, date.
Yeah.
And they can either say date
It's
or
like
no.
real life Tinder.
Yeah. It should be like that. Let's remove one layer of...
Yeah, let's get the phone out of the way and you just walk up to an attractive person and you go 3, 2, 1.
No.
And you both say no at the same time and they go, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Like you initiate it and then say no. Like it's got to be the new handshake for this system to actually work. Otherwise, like people would initiate it and then get rejected and like they would still feel afraid to like do the initiation. Like it's got to be like, oh, hey, Becca, 3, 2, 1, just friends.
Yeah, so it has to be this thing that like encompasses all of life to where you just like what you do is go 3, 2, 1 to anybody and you say your intention.
Yeah.
So you go 3, 2, 1, lunch.
Yeah.
And then you can go get lunch. or you can even 3, 2, 1, hello. But if you walk up to somebody and you go 3, 2, 1, date. But if they say lunch, it's gray. It's a gray area.
Maybe. Well, then, like, you can still have a conversation.
Or you have to keep 3, 2, 1ing until you say the same word.
Yeah.
And if they're heading towards, like, leave, you kind of have to play along and pick up
I think it still creates a universe of not being honest about your emotions, now that I think about it.
I think that's the only universe that can exist.
Yeah, like, you still need that anonymity of Tinder. Where you can just be like, nope, gross, ew, okay. Yeah, it would still turn into me like making eye contact with a girl, and even when she says date, I'd be like, "What, really? Oh my god!"
Oh, for sure. But like as soon as we implement that system, there's so many dates happening immediately.
Yeah,
because that's a great icebreaker, and you have something to talk about, like, oh, this new crazy, like immediately. But then it gets like kind of normal and probably starts failing and going back to the same old problems.
Yeah. So I've been working at Theater Lab, and I keep getting 2 free tickets to all their plays, and I'm like, that's an okay date idea, and then I never ask anyone.
Why? You have to.
Same reason. I feel like if I ask anyone to go on a date with me, it's going to be some sort of breach of social contract, and I will no longer be like the gentle, nice, fuzzy boy they saw me as.
That's the worry. Are these like people who are your friends and you want to date, or are these people you kind of...
Yeah, I generally don't have feelings for strangers.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah, it is, but it's also frustrating because, like, I end up befriending someone, and then it's like, I want to ask this person on a date, but we're also friends. I'm like, I don't want to, like, make it weird. So.
That's the risk you run. But you could always just be like, want to go to this thing, and you don't have to put labels on stuff. But then you go forever not putting labels on stuff and feel really bad all the time.
Yeah.
But that's also an option.
What I'm saying is my romantic life is hanging out with girls platonically until I receive an improbable blowjob.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Sure.
All right, we don't have a lot of time. We got to get back on topic here.
Oh, there's a time limit on this podcast?
No, but I just felt like that's what I should say.
Okay.
Have you ever worn a sombrero?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. There's one in the green room at the theater hanging on the wall.
Oh, and I saw you in a show where you wore a sombrero.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you already knew that.
I knew
yes, I have worn a sombrero.
Cool.
Did I feel great about wearing it? No. In my defense, when I wore it in a show, I wasn't playing like a Mexican character. I was playing a farmer in Texas.
It fits. You don't question that hat when it's a farmer.
Yeah.
No one just wears a casual sombrero.
I mean, they used to at one point. That's why it's a thing.
I guess I don't know my sombrero history well enough.
Me either. I just think it's like, maybe it's like a racist thing that's been drilled in my head, but like it's like that iconic like siesta time. You have a big hat that shades you. Hat.
Yes. I don't know why that threw me out so much. Would you like to set up this clip?
Yeah, sure. So this is a clip of me just totally getting dunked on by my friend Bob. He's much taller than me, which I'm already tall, and he just slam-a-jamma that ball into the hoop right onto my face.
Slam-a-jamma!
Whoo, boy. Yeah, Don't know why I brought such an embarrassing clip.
That was awesome, though. I appreciate you bringing that by. Now we're going to go on to our biggest, most popular feature that is taking the nation by storm. It is time for the game called Biggest Dog Breeds.
Okay.
All right, and we're going to count down from 5 to 1 on this list. And some of the dogs are from the list of top 5 largest dogs. But some of the dogs are from the top 20 most popular dogs. So you have to discern if this big dog is popular or large.
Okay.
All right, do you think you can do it?
Yes.
You need 3 to win.
I know a surprising amount about dogs.
All right, let's see if you know this one. Number 5, Newfoundland.
Oh, boy. What's that one look like again? I want to say it's popular.
Ooh, that's a large dog.
Okay.
All right, 4 left.
Maybe I don't know a surprising
3 to
amount
win.
about dogs.
I mean, if you win this, it's surprising. So you can miss one more and still surprise everyone.
Okay.
Number 4, German Shepherd.
Those are pretty big dogs, but are they big enough to be the biggest dog? Oh, no.
That's the question.
Interacted with enough big dogs. I'm going to say it's popular.
That's correct.
Yeah.
1 point on the board. Number 3, Siberian Husky.
Popular.
Correct. Number 2, Neapolitan Mastiff.
Big.
That's a big one. You've won.
Mastiffs are big dogs. That one was easy.
All right. Well, let's go for bragging rights. Australian Shepherd.
Popular.
It's a popular one. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I got really demoralized when I got the first one wrong.
Yeah, and then you just the rest of the game swept the board.
What does a Newfoundland look like?
I don't know.
Fuck you.
I just looked up the names.
Giving me these dog questions without knowing what the dogs look like?
I'm not a dog person. You a dog person?
Yeah, I'm a dog person.
Do you like cats though still?
I'm fine with cats, but they get me in trouble.
Okay.
I don't know. I find that I go on a lot of dates with cat ladies or cat girls that are into cats, and they just generally, because my personality is that of a dog, I feel like when I meet a girl and she has a cat, it's not going to work out.
Because you're territorial?
I'm not territorial. I'm just like I'm a big clumsy boy who is happy to see you.
Okay, so we keep coming back to relationships.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. Or do you have any prospects?
No.
Do you have any crushes?
Well, yeah.
Why is that? Oh, well, yeah.
Well, everyone has crushes. Like, you don't ever want to find yourself in that point where it's just like, I don't like anyone. The world is pointless.
It's the worst. I'm going through a crush drought.
Yeah, it's really rough. I have found lately that every time I meet, like, a new girl and she adds me on Facebook, I find out she's dating one of my, like, acquaintances.
Of course.
Which has been, like, really wonderful. It's like, oh, you're dating? Wow!
What is the occupation of, like, your ideal person? Does that matter?
No, I need someone who's creative, because every time I've dated a person who wasn't creative, like creative and good at what they do, I need that caveat.
Well, for sure.
Because every time I've dated someone who wasn't creative, it's been a fucking mess. Like, I don't want someone who's incredibly impressed by me.
And that's the problem with the non-creatives?
Usually, it's just like, you're so funny. How do you think of things? And it's just like, I can't have a conversation with you about anything I actually do because you can't even, like, grasp the basics of my work.
That's intimidating. I can definitely see that because you're a funny human, and it's the same when you have like friends who are really smart, and you're smart too, so you probably don't have that insecurity.
Yeah,
but
I kicked my high school girlfriend off of my high school improv team because she wasn't funny.
Did you stay together?
Yeah. So I did it. I back channeled it. I told the teacher to kick her off. I was like, I'm done with it. I'm so done. Because she wasn't very funny. And, like, she spent most of every practice, like, pouting that I was ignoring her to do improv. But, like, I was, like, the captain of the improv team. Like, I had to be engaged And she would just be like, "You're ignoring me." And I'd be like, "I'm not ignoring you. I'm doing what I'm here to do. Why can't you be funnier? It's embarrassing when you get on stage."
Does your like puppy dogness, like, does that have like a beginning stage that wanes, or does that like let some of the, I guess, because that person who's not funny also was your girlfriend, so is that like something that seems awesome at first and then goes away?
My puppy dogness?
Like that you're like excited and
No, I will always be excited. Like that's my base level as a human being, is like excitable to a fault. Yeah, I'm either like excited about, like I'm excited about all the people in my life and not excited about all the things in my life. Does that make sense?
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Like I can, like you could tell me that that one of my writing packets succeeded and I'm writing for a TV show, and I'd be like, "Oh, sounds like work."
So you write a lot too?
I try to. I mean, I write as much as I can.
Do you like send out specs and stuff?
Sometimes, not specs, but writing packets to shows. I'm also my soul is owned by Viacom for the next 6 months, so there's not a lot of things I apply for.
What does that mean?
I did a MTV show, and because of that, they own like the exclusive rights to me working on television for the next year since I shot the show, so like the next 6 months or so.
Do you use FaceTime a lot?
FaceTime?
Or like any kind of video
I used
chat?
to Skype a ton when I was like 19 or 20. Like I had a lot of friends in Canada I used to talk to via Skype. And then I just stopped talking to literally every person on the planet. And now I don't Skype anyone.
Who's the last person you Skyped?
My friend Chuck in South Carolina. Her real name's Charlesy, but I call her Chuck.
I like that.
I also, for a while there, one of my friends I used to Skype with, Anna, when Snapchat like first came out, we would just we would have conversations via Snapchat video, just back and forth.
So are you just like, "Hey, how are you today?"
Yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, what's up? How's it going, buddy?" And then like
vomit a rainbow.
Well, it was like before filters.
Right.
And like 2 minutes later, I'd get a video from her that would be like, "Nothing much, just hanging out in Montreal."
I think
that
that's
was like
cool.
a way we communicated for like 2 or 3 months.
That's like the same thing as just like sending voice memos back and forth.
Yeah, except there was videos.
Yeah, so it's like technologically advanced comparatively.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like? So I brought up the sombrero thing earlier, and do you have any like dream hats that you want to wear one day?
I'm not a hat guy. So have you seen my head? It's in front of you. My football
looking at
helmet
it.
size was a 2XL. They had to special order it when I played football. I have a very big head, so most hats do not fit me. So I guess my dream hat is like any hat that fits me correctly.
How many gallons do you think your head is?
1, which is more than most heads are. You know, I say like the average head is like 0.6 gallons, and I have a 1 gallon head.
They make like up to 10-gallon hats.
You know, that's a myth. They don't hold 10 gallons.
I wouldn't think they would. That'd be a large hat, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be a really big hat.
Like you probably have like 2 to 3 gallons of blood in you right now.
Whoa.
If that gives you like an idea of how much hat that would be.
I don't think I can make that immediate comparison. I think I'm not.
Think of all your blood, but multiplied by 5, and that's a hat.
I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around the volume.
It's hard to wrap your mind around volume. Just imagine how many milks are inside your blood, and then imagine that.
It's like 3 milks, and if I poured it into a hat.
How many milks would you bleed if you bled all your blood?
How many
These
milks
are the
would
important
you...
questions you have to ask.
You're right. I need to step up my game here.
Yeah.
What is your perfect Sunday?
Sorry, I made like a trumpet noise.
I liked it a lot.
My perfect Sunday. I think it starts with brunch.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends with me like watching TV, like a movie with someone I care about. But like that's all theoretical. In the middle, so it's like brunch, a fun activity, whatever that may be. Maybe go to a brewery or, you know, my ideal Sunday is I'm just drunk all day is apparently what it is.
Yes, this
Like,
is what
why
I'm
isn't there
about.
a combination brewery petting zoo?
What kind of things do you want to pet while you're drunk?
Just rabbits. Like I want a rabbit petting zoo that's also a brewery. Or like, here's what we do. The SPCA, we partner with them to open a brewery.
Okay.
And so you just drink and play with dogs.
That's...
And you can adopt the dog. You can get drunk, fall in love with a dog, and take it home with you.
That benefits everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, not long term.
Why?
I feel like I would be a great dog owner.
Okay.
And that's why I can't have a dog.
Why?
Because I don't want to make as big a life change as I need to have one.
I know. They're a lot of work.
Yeah. And I've got a lot of love to give.
Yeah? How much love do you have to give?
About a hat's worth. If you took the volume from a hat, melted that into milk and put it in your body.
Oh, so like a quarter of all your blood.
Like a quarter of all my blood.
Yeah, I have 2 dogs. Last week I had 3 dogs, but then something sad happened.
Oh, I'm sorry for playing the dog game.
It's fine. You know, it was my sister's dog, and I've never watched a dog die before, so that's been haunting me. But did you know when they give the dog Valium before they put it down, they can't hold their tongue in their mouth? That's haunting.
Oh my god.
But like her kidneys were shutting down, and like it was her time to go, and she kept falling down the stairs, which was really upsetting. So like it had to happen. Like she had days left at that, but like she couldn't walk. Anyway, what were we talking about? I got sad. I love dogs.
I got sad too. I love dogs.
My dog has a gimp leg, and that makes me upset, and she's getting old, and having to put a dog down and knowing my dog's getting old is upsetting.
Oh, that's like when your grandparents die and you know your parents are next.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just some shit I gotta work through.
Maybe. I don't know. My grandma is developing dementia. I haven't interacted with her much, but that's what I hear, is that she is kind of absent-minded now.
Oh, I see. Do we have any more sad stuff?
Yeah, you should bring up more sad things. Donald Trump's president. Sorry for everyone that just got super fucking sad.
Yeah.
So after the election, I still have not written anything funny. I wrote one funny thing after the election, and that's it. And it's been 5 months. I've written one funny thing in 5 months.
What's up?
Because the election made me like so depressed and so convinced that I don't have a future.
I think we can fix that. I think what we should do is write something funny right now.
Okay.
All right. Here's how we're gonna do it. Now, let me explain jokes to you.
Okay, you explain jokes to me.
All right. So there are several types of jokes. One popular structure of a joke is to take two things that are seemingly unrelated and relate them.
Yeah, that's one of my specialties.
All right. So choose a thing, and I'll choose a thing.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Bumper.
Horse.
All right.
Horse bumper. This one's easy.
All right.
This one's very easy because you just have to imagine a car-style bumper on front of a horse. Or maybe a boat-style bumper. Have you ever seen those?
A boat bumper?
Yeah, they're like rubber bumpers you put around your boat when you're about to dock. Like you hang them from a rope from the side. So when you come up on the dock,
so you
it
can like
bumps against
hit it and not
damage
destroy
the boat
everything.
in the dock. I feel like you could hang a bunch of those on a horse, and that would keep them from getting injured.
All right. So
what else is funny about horse bumper? Like, I really like the imagery of a bunch of horses and, like, those bubble soccer balls. You know what I mean?
Bubble soccer balls?
Well, like,
I don't know
the bubble
anything
soccer
you know.
bubbles. So bubble soccer...
Oh, like those...
It's like a big, clear bubble you wear around your body, and, like, if you're both wearing them, when you run into each other, you just fly backwards and no one gets hurt. I like the idea of those for horses.
So horses running at each other.
Yeah, like 2 big spheres with like 4 legs and like a little hole for the eyes, and they're just like sprinting at each other and bouncing off.
I just like the word. I just think horse bumper sounds good together.
Horse bumper is good.
I think like because as soon as horse bumper happened, I was like, done. That's funny.
Yeah, it was. We hit 2 transportation related things, and so we nailed it.
See, that's smart. We could have connected that. Like if God.
Do you have some words you want to say, or are you just gonna make noises?
I'm just gonna make noises because like there could be a guy. So a guy rides his horse to work one day, and this guy's like, what happened to your car? And he's like, I got in an accident, and then he goes, well, he got in an accident, took out my bumper, and he's like, well, you know, all things considered, this is an upgrade. And then he's like, yeah, but the bumper is a horse's butt.
You know what I really love is all those videos of people riding horses in urban environments. Like, not cops, just, like, citizens, like, riding horses through the hood or whatever.
Oh, is that legal?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't... I'll comment on some of those videos. I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, they're all very... It's usually... So, all the videos follow the same formula. It's, like, some guy driving, and out the window, you just see, like, a guy... like full gallop down the road on a horse.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to like start like somewhere else, and then it's got to like be an into frame thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
They're in the same vein as like this guy's riding his bike naked videos.
Mm-hmm.
Or just anything where you're like in an environment such as an urban area and you see someone doing something that does not fit the environment, I guess.
Now, Blue.
Yeah?
You have taken the comedy world by storm.
Sure.
Have you ever made a video that is at all viral in nature, or?
No, I've never gone viral. I've made plenty of videos, though.
Okay. All right, that went nowhere.
What? You expected me to have a secret viral success?
Yeah,
that's not the nature of viral video.
Have you
it's
ever?
Not a secret.
I don't know all your life. Have you ever? What's the most money you've ever won in the lottery?
Most money I've ever won in the lottery,
like scratch tickets included.
By the lottery, because those are 2 different things.
Paid by the lottery.
So won in the lottery, probably like $10.
Mm-hmm.
Paid by the lottery, $750.
How does that? Why does that?
Well, you may not be able to tell it from looking at me, but I am on occasion a professional model.
Ooh. For the lottery?
At one point, yes, it was a Redskins scratcher ticket ad. And so there was like a shot of me wearing Redskins gear screaming at a football next to this cute girl. And like it was in every gas station. So like I would walk into gas stations and there would just be me like screaming at a football and be like, oh look, that ad.
Was it like a thing that ran on TV, or did it run at like the Shell station pump?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was print. It wasn't.
Oh, I was thinking it was a video.
It was just like a sign that was hanging on like every lottery machine. It was like Redskin scratchers.
That's
and
amazing.
There was just me like, whoa, football.
Did you yell woo at the time that you took that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did you startle the pretty girl?
No. The pretty girl was like in her late 30s, but like young looking. Like she was like the amazing demographic proof model, and I was just like chubby white guy yelling at a football.
Now, so It's come to my attention you've been in some sports ads. Do you enjoy sports?
No. I used to play football and like it was fun, but I also got injured a ton, so I stopped. Yeah, I'm not really a sportsman.
I think like sports is kind of how some people get their identity.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree with that.
because you can put on a jersey and you're like, oh, I'm a Giants guy. Every Giants person is good. Every Falcons person is a shithead.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. That a lot of people like who are like hungry for a reason to exist turn to a sports team the same way some people turn to church.
Do you go to church?
No, I'm an improviser, so I don't have to get my sense of community from a church. I get it from an improv theater, which is just church for atheist nerds.
So if church is football and improv is church, then is that kind of the jersey you wear that you use as an
I'd
identity?
say so, yeah. Like I don't like every improviser. That's for sure. I'd say I'm a very specific, like I'm a Baptist improviser. Where it's just like these fucking short form guys.
Who are what religion?
Fucking, what's the most popular one? Because that's what it is. Like, what is like they're like mega churchers. You know what I mean? Like, short form is like the mega church of
The church that just says Christian. It doesn't even.
Yeah, they're like, we just want to be as marketable as possible so we can get money.
You don't like Whose Line, man?
I do like Whose Line.
Oh,
I for a long time lived with
Colin
Mockery's daughter.
Oh shit! I thought the sentence was over. I thought you lived with Colin Mockery.
No, my roommate in college was his daughter, Kinley Mockery.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How? Because you at that point were you in improv?
Yes.
Were you doing that?
I started improv when I was 14. And
were you like, holy shit?
I just serendipitously, like, we ended up in the same circles. And, like, we liked each other and we were friends and we moved in together.
Did you...
Played a lot of Super Smash Brothers.
Is that a euphemism?
No, it's Super Smash Brothers.
Okay.
It was usually over. We used to like alternate who bought the case of Coke in the fridge, and if there was one left, it was usually like a tournament to decide who got it. The three of us.
Who's the third person?
Garrett Kelly.
Oh, damn it, Garrett.
He's a very nice boy. He started doing comedy after we stopped living together. He started doing stand-up. He lives in St. Louis now.
All right. Speaking of stand-up, segue.
Gross.
You do a stand-up show. What do you do?
Oh, Vagabond?
Yeah.
Yeah, I run a room at Vagabond in the tea room every Monday night at 9. I do 5 minutes of comedy and then host the show. And, yeah, that's it. It's just a stand-up show if you want to see some stand-up. I also have some other shows in the works right now. I just booked 3 shows at Capitol Ale House next month.
What's the most pressing thing we could plug on here right now?
The most pressing thing.
There are literally dozens of people listening to this.
What do you want me to plug?
I want you to give these people something to do.
Go to Vagabond on April 10th or 24th. Or go to Capitol Ale House on May 1st, 15th, or 29th.
You got any of that, you got any social media?
Sort of. Like, you can follow me on Twitter.
Don't if you don't want to, man.
Just listen. So, like, caring about social media is a thing comedians are expected to do, and I get it. I also view Twitter as the enemy of live comedy. Like, topical humor isn't a thing anymore. Like, it is, but it's not. Because you'll say something that you think is your hot take on, like, oh, Steve Bannon's off of the Security Council. Here's my hot take. And then, like, you'll say that out loud to a room, and, like, a bunch of people will laugh, and, like, 3 people will be like, I read that 5 times on Twitter this morning. And that frustrates me. Like, I feel like topical humor there's no point in doing it because Twitter's already doing it at a much faster rate.
But you're funny on Twitter still. Like you use it.
I do use it. Do you follow me on Twitter?
I do follow you on Twitter.
You do. I get notifications that you like my tweets every once in a while.
Because I like your tweets every once in a while.
Because I only tweet every once in a while because to me, Twitter's not a thing I keep up with. To me, Twitter is like here's an idea that I can just throw on Twitter and not care about.
There's this thing like when I create anything, like it happens a lot with like songs I wrote a million times ago. If I don't put it in its final form, like it rattles around in my head forever. Does Twitter kind of like help like burn ideas?
Sort of, yeah. I could say that. Like it's like Twitter's where I put my jokes that aren't good enough to do live.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was the thing I tweeted recently? Life is what happens in between meeting girls named Rachel. Like that's not something I'm gonna do live.
I meant to reply to that like it's AEL.
Yeah, sure. It was just like I spend all my time around girls named Rachel, and I don't know if it's because it's a popular name or if it's just like the way my life works, where it's just like everywhere I go, there's a Rachel.
Yeah, I thought that was like my own brain doing that because like I dated a girl named Rachel for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like in Grand Theft Auto when you get in the Banshee and you start seeing everyone has Banshees and you're like, fuck, I was just looking for a Banshee for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing. I guess there's just a bunch of Rachels.
I think so. I don't know. It's anyone can interpret that tweet however they like, which is to say they interact with Rachels and I interact with Rachels, and we all have experience with it.
And it's rung true today. Thank you, Blue. That's
my big deep one for the end. It's like everyone knows a Rachel. So remember, next time you meet a Rachel, just remember that like she's not special because there's a ton of Rachels in the world. If anything, Rachels are the least special people on the planet.
All right. All right, that's the end of it.
Okay.
We did it.
Heartbolt Media. Excuse Me Human is a part of Heartbolt Media, a completely made-up company that does not exist. Any belief in such an institution will lead to disappointment. This is not the responsibility of a preceding show or fake company. Alligators and crocodiles are the same thing.